Good morning everyone, and hello again in one of our lessons always about punctuation marks. Today's lesson, is something special. Now, as I say, today's, here in this word, I use today, plus an apostrophe and S. So this is the topic of our lesson of today. It is the apostrophe. The apostrophe. Now, as we all know, that the apostrophe in English is mainly used to express a possessive case, or what we call a genitive case. It means the case of ownership, especially and usually, on the part of humans or people. All right. So we write our lesson title, the apostrophe. Here. Apostrophe. Sometimes, it takes the form only of an apostrophe, and sometimes you should add an S. Clear, an S. Good. Now, as I said, the apostrophe is usually used to express a possessive case or genitive case. But here, within this case, we have two uses of the apostrophe, or two forms of this apostrophe. Sometimes it is used alone, sometimes we must add to it an S. Alright, so we write here the genitive or possessive case. And this is in fact the first use of the apostrophe. It may take the form only of this mark alone, clear, or an apostrophe and S. Apostrophe and S. Now let's start with the easiest form of it. Now, of course, we know that the apostrophe and S comes with two categories of nouns. So we use it with what? Number one, with common or normal singular nouns, singular nouns, like, for example, the boy's toy. The boy's toy. Boy's toy. The man's hat. And so on. So always, if you want to form the possessive case for a singular noun in English, you must put at the end of it an apostrophe plus S. Plus S. Also, for the same possessive case, we can use it with irregular plural nouns. Irregular plural nouns or plural nouns. For example, we have what? Children's house or toys. For example, also people's traditions, people's, right, traditions, and so on and so forth, and so on and so forth. On the other hand, okay, we have the second, okay, form to express possessive case, which is the apostrophe noun. The apostrophe noun. So here, of course, we use it always with what? With the regular plural nouns. With regular, it comes with regular plural nouns. Example, the boys' toys. The boys, here it is. I add to it only apostrophe as it really, okay, ends with S. Boys' toys. Right. And also men's. Sorry, this one is regular. I don't know, for example, I can choose drivers. Drivers. Car or cars. Drivers, cars, like this. Clear? So here, as we have regular plural nouns and an S, no need, okay, to add another S to the apostrophe. So we write only an apostrophe at the end of the regular plural noun. Clear? So here is simply, okay, the two forms, okay, of the possessive case, alright, with the different cases, okay, included under each one. Yet we have only some remarks about, okay, some uses here. For example, here, as you know that the possessive case, okay, is usually, okay, used for expressing humans, okay, or people's, okay, ownership or possessions. Clear? Right. But sometimes also you may use it for other things or objects. Like when I say today's lesson, today apostrophe as lesson. Clear? So the main use is for people, but there are some cases in which we use them, okay, for other also things or objects. Clear? Number one. Second remark also about singular nouns and the apostrophe S. Now, what about the singular nouns which end in S? End in S. Like Charles or, example, Jones. Jones. Now here, these proper nouns which end in S, and which are of course singular. Do we add to them only apostrophe or apostrophe S, like the other singular nouns? So here we generalize the rule, okay? Generalize the rule, okay, to include all the singular nouns without exception. So here also, even if the singular noun ends in S, okay, I must apply to it the same rule. So I add to it Charles's, example, key. Charles's key. Right. Jones's hat. Jones's hat. Clear? Hat. So here we must always put apostrophe S, okay, at the end of any singular noun to express the possessive case. Yet, some Romanians, okay, recommend. Okay, recommend, but there are some exceptions. Okay, so we need today to clarify these exceptions to this rule, just in case we need them. Okay, when we are reading, so as not to consider them as mistakes. Clear, as mistakes. So, for example, they accept from this rule classical and biblical names. Classical and biblical names. Like, or mainly, Jesus, Moses, and Achilles. Now some believers, okay, accept these nouns from this rule, and they say for these classical and biblical nouns or names which are singular, we can be satisfied only with an apostrophe. Moses and Achilles, without adding any s. Alright, any s. So for us in our lesson, we must apply this rule to all singular nouns, without exception. Clear, without exception. And when it comes to these three names or nouns which are singular in English, it is possible to add only an apostrophe. Only an apostrophe. Okay, at the end of them. Jesus, Moses, and Achilles. Of course, the list is long, but we should be satisfied with only these three names. Right, because they are classical and biblical names. So this is the first use of the apostrophe to express a possessive case. There are still many other uses we will explore in this lesson. Just follow, please. Also, within this possessive case, we have another two types of expressing ownership. So, the first one, when we have what we call joint ownership. Joint ownership. It means shared ownership. Two or more persons would share the same property or the same object. Clear? And we have what we call separate ownership. It means when each person has his own property or possession. So here also we have special use for the apostrophe. We need to clarify in this lesson. Let's start with the easiest one, which is the joint ownership. Number one, we have what we call joint ownership. Joint ownership. This indicates that two or even more people share the same object or property. Alright. For example, I write this is Steve and Mark car. So both of them, Steve and Mark, have the same car. They are partners, in the same car. Now here we use the apostrophe, to show this shared property or this joint ownership. Alright, good. So we use here only one apostrophe and s at the end of the second noun. And we write this is Steve and Mark's car. Steve and Mark's car. It means both of them possess one car. One car. So in this case, I put only apostrophe and s if the noun, of course, is singular. At the end of the second noun of the owner, right? And if they have two plural nouns, okay, I must of course add only apostrophe, okay, after the regular plural noun. For example, I write these are man and women's, right, women's example things. Here I have a regular plural nouns with the same form. Now in case I have two plural nouns, okay, with which are regular. For example, these are for example, boys and girls' toys. Here the toys belong to both boys and girls. So here I must always put my apostrophe at the end of the second owner, and here as it is regular plural noun, I put only apostrophe. Clear? With the same rule we saw together in our at the beginning of the lesson. Clear? Here also it's apostrophe s, apostrophe s. Alright. Good. Now for the case of separate ownership. Separate ownership. Ownership. For example, I write, here we have two or more persons, okay, who possess, who own, okay, different objects. Okay, they don't share the same object. They have or they own different objects. For example, I have two cars, okay, and I have Mark and Steve, each one has his own car. So I write Mark and Steve cars. Here we have two cars. Here, two cars. Each one has his own car. So here, as they are plural, we say these are Mark's, clear, Mark's and Steve's cars. Mark's and Steve's cars. Clear? Steve's cars. Alright. Here also, for example, we can, if in case we have also two regular nouns, alright, which have different possessions. For example, I write, these are, here, these are, for instance, boys and girls, toys. Toys. Now here I want to say that each part has its own, okay, its own toys. Here we have separate ownership expressed by putting only apostrophe at the end of each, okay, owner name, each owner's name. Clear? Boys and girls toys. It means we have here two different, okay, owners with two different properties or possessions. Clear? Or possessions. So here, as you see here, this is okay, or these are the two cases of ownership. In case you have, okay, joint ownership, we must always put the apostrophe s or the apostrophe at the end of, okay, the name of the last owner. Name of the last owner to indicate that all the owners share this property. Clear? All of them have this property, the same one. Clear? One. Now, in case you want to indicate that, okay, every owner has his own object, separate, clear, or separately, here you must put an apostrophe s at the end of the name of every owner, and you must here put plural nouns for the property because we have different objects which are owned here, clear. So this is simply the division between, okay, joint ownership and separate ownership. Good. Now, the second use of the apostrophe is also very widely used in what we call contractions. In contractions, in fact, contractions are contracted or shortened words in which we remove a certain letter and replace it with the apostrophe. So we write here, second use in contractions. Example, like don't, it means do not, right? Like he is, right? Here this one indicates either he is or he has also sometimes, clear. Also like you are, your, and so on and so forth, clear. So always whenever you have a contraction, we put an apostrophe instead of the omitted letter. Likewise, also we have another use, and special use for the word o'clock. O'clock, as you know, capitalize O, we put an apostrophe and we write o'clock, right, to indicate the exact time, of the hour. The British say o'clock and the Americans say sharp. It is 8 o'clock or it is 8 sharp. 8 sharp. Good. Also, we have another use, with an apostrophe always, but this one concerns numbers. Number 4. It is used also before the two numbers, or we write also digits of the year, to replace the century. So instead of saying, for example, 1960, I was born in 1960, you can say, I was born in apostrophe 60, like this. It means 1960. 2020, alright, you remove 2000 and you leave, apostrophe 20. This one replaces the century, the century. So here are our apostrophes in these special, cases of use. Good. Also, we have another important and widely used, use of this mark. For example, when we say, I am now at the doctor's. I will go to the baker's. I will visit the dentist's. Right. So here the apostrophe, and S expresses or indicates the location. Right. Also, number 5 in locations. To indicate locations. To indicate locations. Example, right? At the doctors. Let me put it right here. Doctors. Bakers. Dentists. nouns. I am at, for example, I am at Ali's, or Steve's, or Max. Ali's. So here when you put an apostrophe S at the end of these nouns, it means you are in their locations or headquarters. Okay. Locations. Clear? Before we end this lesson, we have only also another important remark which concerns a particular type of nouns, which is the compound noun. Compound noun. Like, for example, this is my sister-in-law car. Or this is the commander-in-chief, right? Commander-in-chief. Okay, commander-in-chief, right? Troop in the army. Troop. Now here, as you know, that we form plural nouns, okay, with compound nouns by putting always s at the end of the first part of the compound noun. Sisters-in-law here indicates what? Plural. Commanders-in-chief indicates plural, okay, noun. How about the possessive case with these plural nouns? The rule says that we must always add the apostrophe or apostrophe s at the end of the last part of the compound noun. Okay, so in case it is singular like this, we write sister-in-law apostrophe s. Those come. Clear, not here. Must come here. Right. Here also, commander-in-chief's troop. Right. Chief's troop. Right. Good. So this is simply our lesson about the apostrophe, its different cases, uses, okay, and mainly the possessive case, which is the focal, okay, or the major use of this mark. I hope that you can master it in your writing, because it's very important, and it's one of the common mistakes the students until now, okay, or many of them confuse, right, especially between the singular and the plural nouns. Here is the lesson with its rules, details, helping, okay, that you can, okay, avoid your mistakes in the future. Okay, thanks so much, and see you in our next mark and next lesson. Have a good day.